Plaintiff Brenda Ryder and her husband Todd own a restaurant. And from the day they hired the defendant to work for them, it was nothing but drama. Brenda claims the defendant even went as far as accusing her of being a drug addict, and she's suing her today for an unpaid loan. Defendant Shelley Conroy and her husband Thomas say when Shelley first started working for the plaintiff, she loved it. However, over time, Shelley noticed that Brenda was always drunk on the job, and Shelley insists that Brenda is suing for more than she owes.
Start with you.
So Shelley started working for me probably 8 months ago, perhaps. I own Nacho Mama's in Stillwater. I run the front of the house. This Todd Neal runs the back of the house. So he actually hired her. But so from day one of her employment with me, it was drama after drama after drama, starting with her dog's sick, her husband's sick, her grandma's sick. Just never ever would fail.
Toenail too long.
Pardon me?
My toenail is too long. I have to take off the day.
No, seriously. And
how often did that happen?
All
taking
the time.
Off work. I mean, once a week, twice a month.
I'd say once a week. She would have something. She wouldn't always get the day off. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes we couldn't let her. She had a problem. Mm-hmm. But she had some sort of issue.
Mm-hmm. Or she needed to leave early.
Oh, she'd plan her exit strategy when she walked in. When she walked in, she would decide how she was going to go and to get out of there as fast as she could. She had one Friday, probably an hour before her shift started. She decided her grandmother was sick.
She decided. I didn't know.
Well, because I don't believe her. She decided because I never did believe her.
Go ahead, man.
And then the next day, her grandma was in ICU. The next day, her grandmother, and hopefully not, she was dead. Now, this woman never took off a day for a funeral, but she missed the whole weekend of work because of this.
Go ahead, man.
When she was in front of me, when I was working with her, oh, sweet as pumpkin pie. When I wasn't around, she would call me a drug addict, an alcoholic. I didn't know how to order food, run a restaurant. Mind you, I've been in business 8 years at Nacho Mama's.
Congratulations.
9 years prior to this, I've owned and operated a successful cafe. What she's saying is baloney.
Mm-hmm. So
I don't know about the restaurant title. Not Your Mama's.
Nacho Mamas.
Nacho, as in.
But it's supposed to be Nacho Mama. He's right. You're right. Well, it's Nacho Mama's restaurant. It's mine.
That's right.
And I always say I'm not your daddy.
That's good. What city and state?
It's in Stillwater, Minnesota.
All right. Let me hear some background from you, young lady.
When I first started working there, I loved it. There wasn't anything I wanted to do but be there. There was some circumstances that did come up, but it wasn't every week.
Every other day?
No, it was not every other day. It was maybe twice a month that something would actually cause, more than just me having to leave early or something like that. And as far as any other times that I did, because of the stressful situation there, is why, I did not come to work sometimes. It was just a bad situation for me to be in. It was the worst working environment I'd ever been in.
Yeah. It's always worst working environment when something else comes up.
She and he begged us to let her back.
All right, let me hear about the lawsuit. Tell me about the balance on this loan. Tell me about the loan in general.
The loan in general, she came to me wanting to borrow $1,500.
What was it for?
Oh, she was going to get evicted from her house. So, being the nice person that I am, I went ahead and did it.
Yeah, I wish I could borrow money from my boss.
Come to Nacho Mama's. I loan it to everyone.
Yeah, all right.
I get suckered every time.
You got any openings?
Yeah, can you cook?
The problem is we still loan money.
Go ahead.
So she was going to get evicted. I did it for her. She said she would pay me back $750 out of her first paycheck, which was a 2-week time period. Mm-hmm. I went ahead and took that out of her check. Mm-hmm. And so her husband here comes and picks that check up. He goes outside, he opens it, he comes storming back in the restaurant. What's this? What's this? What are you talking about? Oh, you owe me $1,500. It's a loan. You have to pay a loan back. Oh, no, not like this. We're not paying this, not like this.
Your Honor.
Had they agreed to allow you to take it out of the check?
But this one, Your Honor, was a verbal agreement.
Your Honor, that's
not true?
That is not true.
All right, so when is the last promise you received?
So we went ahead and gave her the money back. I have a promissory note right here.
Let's see it, please.
That she would pay me back $300 out of every check.
Good enough, and you haven't received it. Let me hear from you all. State your name.
My name is Thomas Conroy.
What do you want to tell me?
Between the times that she had worked there, I had noticed many single things. One in particular came out the most was she had contacted Todd on the telephone and had a conversation with him about the things that had been going on there, as far as Brenda being plastered all the time and him doing cocaine on the tables that
Sir,
she had
I'm going to stop you from all of that. You're not even a litigant here. I was trying to let you answer about this money.
Yeah.
And you come with all these far-fetched stories and allegations.
It's actually
go ahead,
not
man.
far.
Let's talk
It's
about
actually
this
not
money.
far-fetched.
We've given background. I allowed you to do that. Let's talk about this money now.
Okay.
All right. Did you borrow $1,500?
I did.
All right. What did you use it for? You all don't snort cocaine, do you?
No.
You're all right then. Whatever they do, they don't have to borrow money to do it. You're trying to damage these folks' reputation. They operate a business. Now, let's get to this $1,500. Did you borrow $1,500?
I did.
What was your agreement to repay?
My agreement to repay, the first payment, that $750, the half one, that was a misunderstanding. I didn't realize that that's what they meant, like, right then. So that's why they were nice enough to give me that in back, and then we
had
did
a phone call, and I
Sir, that's enough. Let her finish.
Then we did the written agreement that they would take out $300 out of every paycheck to repay the loan.
And where are you at with the payments now?
When I left there, they took the last paycheck that I was due from there. So she had sent me a text message saying that I owed her $426, which I have.
Okay.
Here.
Ma'am, she says she admits to owing $426. Why are you suing for $549?
I was wrong about the total when I texted her because I didn't have my accountant.
Do you have anything after?
I have the check stubs.
No. Do you have anything after August 7th where you corrected the amount you told her she owes? You told her you corrected it with
I didn't tell her.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I
didn't.
didn't.
Why?
Because I hadn't called it into payroll because I had to wait till Wednesday to do it. And
you should have notified her and said, I made a mistake. It's not $426, it's $549.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to short you that $100 and I can't count.
$120?
$120 is not $120.
Your Honor?
Huh? Yes.
The other $60 is for not returned uniforms.
I have those with me today.
All right, but that's not part of this agreement, and that's what you're suing for today. You don't say uniforms on your claim, you say loan. I'm going to grant you your $426, which is the last communication you had with her.
Okay.
Good luck to you all in your business, and you all have a good day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Hey, we need time. That's what you get when you owe money. You pay it back.
I know. That's fine. I don't have any problem.
Stop talking your crap.
I didn't talk it to anybody except for you guys.
Really?
I didn't. Not a thing.
You ever seen me snort cocaine?
I didn't say you did it.
You're
Have you ever
nuts.
seen me do it? You hear?
Have
It's
you?
Hearsay.
I hear a lot too about you.
Okay.
Lots of stuff. Lots of good stuff.
Plaintiff Glenn Nichols says after he met the defendant at a bar, they became good friends who hung out daily. Glenn claims he loaned the defendant money because he felt sorry for her, but she has failed to repay him. Defendant Tasha Lund says Glenn wanted a relationship with her, and he constantly tried to buy her love. Tasha claims Glenn also gave pain pills to her friend because he wanted a relationship with her, and she denies owing him for anything.
Start with you.
Well, it all started I don't know, a couple of years ago, I was sitting in the bar drinking, and this young lady come over to me, introduced herself. And from then on, we started meeting every night. But
Where?
in the bars and that.
Okay.
And when I met her, she was living in a house condemned. No water, no lights, no electricity, no nothing. So I felt sorry for her.
Yeah, when did she tell you that? The first hour?
No.
How long?
Probably a couple days.
Okay, well, at least she waited to come with that. She waited to come with that. Go ahead.
But
So she told you all, she gave you the sob story 2 days after meeting her.
and the thing of it is, she just we kept seeing her. And I asked her about a relationship, and she said no. She said after she got her own apartment and her son was living with her, then she would think about it. It would be different between us. And I said, okay. I said, I respected her wishes. And I asked her if she wanted to come and live with me until she got a place to stay, got her own apartment. She said no. She decided she still wanted to live, I don't know what you want to call it, living like. I wouldn't live that way. I lived that way when I was in the Army out in the field.
So did you help her to get out of that
Yes, I
living
did.
situation?
Yes, I did. I tried.
Had you gone to visit her living situation?
Yeah, yes, I did.
You had? And you had seen how she was living?
Yes, I was.
Okay, go ahead.
And we just kept seeing each other, seeing each other. So one night I took her home, and here was another man in her house. And I asked her what was going on, and she said he was there watching her stuff. I don't know what he was watching. She didn't have nothing. So him and I got in an argument, and he went out the front door and he called the cops on me, and I got a disorderly conduct ticket. So the next day I went down to the police department, and I said to the one policeman, I said, I want you to go with me to get some of my stuff from this young lady.
Oh, you had moved your things in?
No, I didn't. I just give her some stuff to use.
Okay.
A cooler and some other stuff.
Got it.
And so when I went up there with the police officer, he said, I know where the place is. He says, that girl's got a different guy there every week. He said, he doesn't make no difference. Every week she's got a different guy there. I said, okay, so I got my stuff and I left. A few days later, she called me up. She was always calling me, can you get this for me? Can you do that? And buy this for me and buy that. But it just kept on going. I helped her move. She wanted to put her stuff in a storage. I paid for the storage locker.
Why? Because you were interested? You felt you all were dating? What
No.
did you do all this for?
Because I felt sorry for her.
Okay.
She had no place to go, and I asked her why she couldn't get any help. She says, I'm the only one that ever helped her. Nobody else would.
You didn't ask about all those other men? You didn't say, well, how about that guy I walked in on there? He didn't help you?
No.
How about all those guys the police told me about? They didn't help you?
No, they never helped. They helped themselves to one thing, and I won't say what that is.
Let me hear from you, ma'am.
I met Glenn on July 16th, and yes, he did want a relationship. I told him I didn't want one. And this is what he does. He preys on young women, tries to buy their relation sex or anything.
How young are you?
I am 36. But he, with pain pills or anything, buying everything just so he can try to get a
He gives you
relationship
pain
with them.
pills?
No. Not me.
Who did he give
A
pain?
friend of mine.
Okay.
And they had sent me these pictures of them on the bed and her on top of him and all this stuff. This is how he is. He will get a young person or whatever, and then he will go and buy them things and everything else, and then turn around. If you don't get his way, then he wants to.
Oh, your old man do that.
Yeah. So.
I got news
I don't
for
want-
you.
I told him
They want them a
one.
young girl. They shower them with all this stuff, and single older gentlemen, and they do all that. And I'll buy her gifts so she can comply with my needs or desires. And if you don't, they'll leave you alone. They have a motive, just like the woman may have a motive. The young lady may have a motive. I want your money. I'm going to call you and tell you my house is condemned. I'm going to call you and tell you this is wrong and this is wrong. I'm going to call you and ask you for money. That young lady typically has a motive to be with this gentleman who is, how old are you?
76.
All right. So a gentleman that is 40 years older than the woman probably has a motive of getting some support from him. And then that man who doesn't mind giving that support, he's doing it for a reason.
I heard by a person that knowing her.
Let me let her finish, sir. You say you have pictures of him in compromising positions?
Yes.
I don't know who.
Here we go!
It's nothing bad.
He's not undressed, is he? Don't make us look at that.
No.
All right.
We had our clothes on.
My man. My man.
His face. Oh my God. He's in heaven.
So you went to heaven without dying.
Nobody had their clothes on.
But they sent them to me. They didn't,
Ma'am, that doesn't show a thing.
But
This doesn't show a thing.
And he never said, it was all friendship. I told him I wanted to just be his friend from the beginning. I didn't want a relationship with him. I never said I wanted a relationship with him. I never let him think I wanted a relationship with him. Nothing.
Did he come over to your house?
He's come to when I lived at my grandmother's house, yes, he came over there.
And you all did what?
Nothing. He just came over there. We didn't ever do
came over and walked away?
He came over and hung out.
Sir, were you all ever just sitting around watching television, hugging or touching?
No. The only time I took her to work. I went to her place. I bought her cigarettes. I bought her pop. I'd take her.
Why? Because she was a nice lady.
She asked me to.
Sir, what specifically do you want back that you have given to this woman?
I've loaned her money. I paid her bond. She called me up one night, said she was scared. She was going to go to jail.
For what?
She had a couple warrants for driving or something. Mm-hmm. So I borrowed money to pay her bond. I had to pay it back.
So she was in jail just one night?
No, she was going to go. They were going to serve the warrants on her.
You gave her the money?
No, I went up and paid it. I got receipts for it.
You got receipts for paying for her tickets?
Yes.
All right, not for paying a bail. All right, and when was she to repay that? When did you do it, and when was she to repay?
She was supposed to repay, but she never does. She doesn't never pay
when
nothing
did you
back.
do it?
That was, I think it was in March.
How much?
That was $361 for the bond.
She didn't tell you when she would repay you?
No, she didn't.
And you didn't give her a deadline?
Nope.
So why are you suing her now?
Because I told her that I had to pay the money back that I borrowed.
All right, but you didn't give her a deadline, so she didn't know when you had to pay it back.
A few weeks later, she takes me to the phone company, and I have to pay. I pay $400 and something for the telephone. Huh?
She forced you?
No.
Okay. So did she tell you she was gonna pay you back?
Yeah, she's supposed to.
No, did she tell you she would?
Yeah, she didn't say nothing.
Okay, so why do you think she owes you? Why wouldn't you interpret that as a gift? I promise you, if Doyle takes me to the phone company and says, give me your number, Judge, and he puts the money down and we walk away and leave, I think he gave me a gift. I think he's my friend and he paid my phone bill.
I'm gonna pay him back.
Pardon me?
I'll pay him back.
Not if he doesn't ask, it's a gift. You don't pay gifts back.
It ain't a gift.
It is unless you agree that you're going to repay.
We had no relationship.
I understand that. Sir, one question, very simple question. What has she told you she would repay, and when did she say she would repay it?
She didn't say she would.
All right, well, all of it was what?
No specific date.
No, you just said she didn't say she would repay it, sir.
I said.
Why is he doing this now?
Because I got a boyfriend.
Oh,
no, I don't.
There you go.
I got a boyfriend. It's not him.
I supported him.
Unless you can prove to me that she agreed to repay you anything, I'm going to have to dismiss your case because it sounds like all of it was a gift based on your description.
Your Honor, it was not a gift.
Okay, you can't prove it?
I got statements,
where she
credit
says,
card
I'll pay you back?
If I was to
Do you have anything where it says, I will, your claim is dismissed? I'm sorry. Have a good day.
Thank you.
I ain't got any answers.
Just tell him what do you feel.
It's not over.
It's over.
No, it's over. Stop stalking her. Stop stalking her.
Leave me alone.
Don't
stalk me. Don't go to my work.
Shut up.
plaintiff, Amy Baird, says the defendant is her younger brother. And not only was he kicked out of school twice for fighting, but he was also arrested for assaulting their mother. Amy's suing because she bailed the defendant out of jail when he was arrested again for assault, but he failed to repay her. Defendant Stephen Tucker says Amy appears to be nice and sweet, but when he was 8 years old, she was coming home from rave parties high on ecstasy. Stephen claims Amy's the one who got into physical fights with her mother, and he's countersuing his sister for an illegal eviction.
Start with you.
First of all, I'd like to start out by saying I was here 4 years ago, and I thought you ruled it very fair. You're the only judge I wanted to hear this case.
Thank you. You just want to see Doyle, but I'll take that. I'll take that. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
So Stephen is my younger brother. I literally changed his diapers when he was a baby. By the time he was 8 or 9, I had moved out of the house. So I know he's had some trouble.
How much older are you?
I'm 8 years older.
Okay.
So I know Stephen's had some trouble since then. I know in high school he was suspended at least twice for fighting. And in August of last year, my mom called me and said that she and Stephen had gotten into a huge fight. And I found out Stephen had actually been arrested for assaulting my mom. So I thought maybe the kid just needs some geographical therapy. So I said, okay, just pack up, leave Carolina. When you spoke with him,
what did he tell you, though? When you said you assaulted mom, what was that?
Well, I didn't even talk to him about that arrest because we had more pressing issues, because the judge had actually signed a restraining order restraining him from going and living back home with mom. So he had to move immediately, and he didn't have anywhere else to go. So of course he calls Big Sister.
What was your mother's allegation? What did she tell you?
I wasn't there, but I have his mugshot, and you can tell by looking at his eyes. I'm sure he was messed up.
He's a dope fiend. Let me see here. Something's wrong.
Not a dope fiend.
It's not normal behavior.
I know that he has had a history of smoking a little pot here and there.
Weed don't make you jump on your mother.
My mom said that she found pot once in the back seat of her car, and I know that he does get a temper when he drinks.
Okay. Some people get violent when they drink, but when people smoke weed, they chill out. They lay back. Not out. Ask for some food. They got the munchies. Laugh. Go ahead.
Okay, so I thought maybe he just needs to get away from the same people, same town. Maybe he'll stay out of trouble. So he packed up, left Carolina, came to live with me down in Louisiana. Everything was cool for about 2 months. And then he had found a job. He even got a new girlfriend. I gotta tell you, I'm his older sister. I didn't approve of this girl. I knew she was trouble.
What was wrong with her? What didn't you approve about her?
I didn't like anything about her. I didn't like anything about her. I didn't like anything about her.
Just give me some examples of what you didn't like.
I didn't like her stupid pink hair. I didn't like the fact that she drank all the time.
Okay, that's something that should be questionable.
Exactly.
Okay, I got you.
So they told me one night that they were going to go out to this bar, and I said, no, that's not a good idea. You don't need to do that. You've got to work. Sure enough, lo and behold, 3 o'clock that morning, he called me from Ouachita Parish Jail and said he needed to get bailed out. Promised me he would pay me back, begged me. Amy, please come get me, please come get me.
What did you find out had occurred?
He was arrested for aggravated assault.
Did you hear the facts or the allegations?
I found out later that he had hit a guy with a baseball bat. Now, while he was in jail, he led me to believe that the whole thing was a mistake and the guy had really kind of pushed him into just defending himself. He said the whole thing was going to be eventually dismissed or he would be not guilty. So I kind of felt bad for him, you know, like, okay, maybe I'll get him out of jail. But what did you come to find out later? The guy actually said something about Stephen's trashy girlfriend, and Stephen went and got a baseball bat and hit the guy.
Now, they had bats laying around at this club? Go ahead, I'll let you give your side.
Backseat of his car.
Go ahead, sir, you give me your side.
Well, first of all, Your Honor, I'd like to say Amy's a very presentable person. She always has been. You think she's Martha Stewart. But the truth is, a little backstory, she might have been changing my diapers when she was 8, but when I was 8, she was showing me how to use glow sticks. she was coming home from rave parties after rolling on ecstasy.
Didn't Martha Stewart do time?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Good point.
And, you know, those things influence you. And she brought up the thing with my mom, and it was a misunderstanding. It was not assault and battery. I never laid a hand on my mother. What happened was it was a heated verbal argument, and she called the police because she felt threatened.
Okay.
Verbal arguments don't land you in jail for assaulting your mom, Stephen.
Can I finish? So basically, the cops came to make sure everything would be okay, and that's why she called them. They then had no choice in South Carolina but to take me to jail. It wasn't her charging me. She didn't press charges. They had to do it. They also had to file the restraining order. The same restraining order that she talked to the judge about, and he later revoked after I had already moved so that I could see her again later.
He is right. They will arrest someone for domestic assault if you threaten or if you cause them to feel threatened. Particularly your mother. If your mother calls the police and says, hey, I think my son is going to jump on me. He's talking extra crazy. Something's wrong with him. Would you please come and get him? They will. And in most states now, they have a 72-hour holding period in domestic violence cases where all the person really has to do is convince the officer that this person had threatened them with harm or indeed harmed them, and they will take them and hold them and issue a restraining order. So go ahead.
I mean, that happened with my mom, and I regret the whole situation. You know, me and drinking don't go good together, and I've tried to slow down recently. I'm trying to just stop drinking. But more to do with my mom, I also remember as a little kid when my sister was probably around my age, she was having a lot of problems, you know, partying, drinking, going out. But not only that, her and my mom actually got into physical altercations where they're pulling hair and dragging each other across a carpet. And I saw it with my own eyes, so it's...
Never happened?
I was a witness.
I have never hit my mom in my whole life. If I had, she would have called the cops on me too.
No, not when she had already hit you.
All right. It's a good point. She's got to go get herself locked up for child abuse. So,
well, okay, granted, my mom's hard to get along with. That's why I said, you know what, all right, you got in a fight with mom, whatever, come live with me. I get that.
Tell me about when you went to live with her.
You know, at first, it was good. Like she said, I got a good job. Me and her were getting along, everything was good. I started seeing the girl that she didn't, you know, like, she disapproved of her. And me and her were out one night, and there was a guy, and he made a comment about her body. And I was already, at this point, so intoxicated. I mean, I don't even remember it happening. And I went to the car, and there was a bat in my trunk. And I hit him a couple times with the bat. So after that, I was on probation for a while. I was charged with aggravated assault. And that was, you know, the second time I'd been arrested for assault. So after that, you know, I'm really trying now to change.
Don't forget, there's a marijuana charge too, because you had pot on you when you hit him, so. And I have evidence of that also. This is the bail application that we filled out.
And tell me about that. You obviously agreed to bail him out and he agreed to repay. That's why you're suing him for the bail money?
Absolutely. He had a good job. I figured he could afford to pay me back at some reasonable
So did you agree to repay her? This $4,200 is a lot of money.
$4,294 was the total amount.
I did agree to repay her, but it's hard to repay somebody bail money after going to jail, and then you get kicked out with no notice.
But I get it.
Hold on. No, it's easier because you don't have to pay rent.
He lived with me for 3 months.
It's easy to pay her if she kicks you out.
Even after I bailed him out, he lived with me for 3 months. I gave him 3 months.
So your defense is she kicked you out?
Yes.
Why did she say she was kicking you out?
Well, you know, she knew that I smoked a little pot before I even came to Louisiana. And one day I come home and she's going through my room and she finds the pot, I guess.
Why was she going through your room?
That's a good question.
Here she is today.
Why did you go through my room?
Because everything in his behavior told me that he was still messing up. He wasn't going to work on time. He was coming in late.
Messing up as in what?
It's just the habits of a user, somebody with a problem. When you're habitually late for work, or you don't come home, or you know, you just come home smelling like marijuana. So when he finally came home, when he found me going through his stuff, I told him I refuse to enable and in fact subsidize your substance abuse problem. I said, What's really going on? Do you have a habit? Do you need rehab? Because if so, we can call your probation officer and talk about this.
Okay. Sir, tell me how you ended up leaving then.
Well, she told me that day, basically to get out. And
did she find marijuana?
Yeah, she did find marijuana, but...
And I have a 4-year-old daughter.
Had she instructed you not to bring any in or use it in the house?
Not before that. She hadn't.
You didn't know
me.
that she didn't want you to bring marijuana into the house?
With my daughter?
I knew she didn't want it around her daughter, but I would never use that around her daughter. I would never put either of them in jeopardy of getting in trouble with either of those.
Is it legal there?
No, sir.
Well, you did put her in jeopardy.
What if my daughter had been going through your stuff? What if she had found it?
Yeah. Or what if mom would have been over there and somebody would have gotten in a fight with mom again, as you all like to fight mom.
It's easy.
And the police come and they say, well, let me search around.
Exactly.
And then bingo, they find illegal drugs.
And besides, when you're on probation, they have the right to come in your house and search anytime they want.
That's a good point. Sure do. Under certain circumstances, depends on the type of probation. They do. All right, sir. I can't grant you an illegal eviction because she did right. She is entitled to an emergency eviction when illegal activity is occurring in her household with a tenant. So she was able to evict you that very moment that she discovered illegal marijuana there. You should have kept it somewhere in the park under the bushes or something. Like the kids in some neighborhoods, and they see the police, they throw it in the bushes. She's about like the police.
Yeah, she really is.
Sounds like it, but she was trying to look out for your best interest. You were on probation, number one, and you knew that possession of marijuana is a crime, and you had it in her home, exposing her to charges, and so therefore I'm going to grant her judgment because you agreed to pay her the bond money. $4,244 is what she's requesting, and your only defense is she kicked you out. And her defense to putting you out without notice is that your illegal activity put her in jeopardy, and therefore she had a right to an emergency eviction that didn't require anyone's approval. Have a good day. Judge.
I'm telling Mom. I'll tell Martha Stewart when we get home, by the way. Yeah, whatever.
I don't think you deserve a dime of it. How can you throw out your own brother and then sue him in court?
I don't even want to hear this right now. I don't even want to hear this right now.
I wouldn't have an excuse either.
Just
if
wait
I could
for
do that.
Christmas. You know, what if I had been our older sister? You'd still be in jail.
Right.
Plaintiff Nancy Roman dated the defendant for 3 months, and she says he was a violent drunk. Nancy claims the defendant once punched her in the nose and bit her on the chest and was growling like an animal throughout the attack. Nancy's suing her ex for a down payment on a car and the cost of a cell phone. Defendant Santos Vasquez says although he loves Nancy, he doesn't like her, and he insists he only tried to help her. Santos is countersuing because he claims Nancy spread rumors that he was gay and had a sexually transmitted disease.
Start with you.
Okay, I dated the defendant about 3 months. Now, he kind of had like a split personality. At moments when he was sober, he was like extremely nice. But then when he kind of was drunk, he was a completely different person. He was sometimes abusive.
That's not called split personality. That's called drunk. He got drunk and acted like some drunks do.
Well, I assumed that it was only because of the drunk at first, because of drinking, but then after I got to actually know him, that was just his personality. One time he was extremely nice, then completely out of nowhere he was a completely different person. Without drinking.
I thought you said it's when he's drunk, it's when he does
when he would drink. In the beginning, that's what I thought. I thought it was only because of his drinking that he was acting that way. But then when I started to actually get to know him, it wasn't only because of the drinking.
How long did you all date?
About 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
He should switch to weed. Calm him down a little bit.
So, give me some examples of his behavior.
Okay, actually, there was one time because of his anger when he's drinking. When he's not drinking. We know that when people are drunk, they do those types of things. So I want to know when he's not drinking. That's when you said he also... Okay, when he's not drinking,
give me some examples of what he did.
A couple times he called my phone and he would be very angry, assuming that I was cheating or something. So then he would threaten me over the phone, saying that he would kill me, he was going to shoot me. He even did it in front of my mother. a couple times he did hit me before. And he went and he punched me in my nose where I was bleeding. He bit me on my chest and was growling while doing it.
She's lying.
And then
all in 3 or 4 months?
Yes.
Did you all ever call the police on him?
My mother, the neighbor did that day.
What else?
And he punched my sister a couple times on her head when she tried to split up the whole situation. And he even fought his best friend.
What did the police do about assaulting and battering you and your sister?
They came
repeatedly.
They came that night. I know that the neighbor was the one who called, and my mom was the one who spoke to the police, but then she said that she just didn't want to like start such a big commotion at that time.
So he assaulted and battered you how many times?
It was only that one time that he did it.
You gave me several examples.
Well,
you said one time he bit you on the chest.
They were all the same day.
Oh.
So it was all in the same night. It wasn't at different times. It was only that one time.
So one time, when he wasn't drunk, he acted in that way.
He was supposedly drinking. I'm not sure if he was drunk.
That night?
That night when he
Okay, let's talk about when he's not drinking, because once again, we know how people act when they drink. A lot of people do exactly what you say. Let's talk about when he's not drinking, because you say he has a split personality when he's not drinking. Please give me some examples of that.
Okay, the times that he was not drunk was the harassment over the phone, where he threatened to kill me and shoot me. He broke multiple things in the car because he...
different time?
Yes, different times. He broke the windshield wipers, the little thing that turns in the car, and he broke the entire whole music system that was inside of it.
Gotcha. All right. And all of this in 3-4 months. And how did you all break up? Was it over this incident?
It was over the phone.
Payment on the car?
No, I still stood with him after the car situation because I believed that he would end up...
Why did you all break up?
We broke up when he broke my phone.
Sir, why don't you give me some background on the relationship?
I love this girl, but I do not like this girl. This girl paints me as a bad guy that she claims that I am, an alcoholic. All I've ever tried to do is help this girl. This girl...
Help her how?
One time her baby dad came, they broke her vehicle. But he sent females to break her window. They spray painted a hole on the side of her car. I fixed the window. I tried to take the hole out the side of the car.
This happened too?
Yes.
But
it wasn't when we were together.
She sold the vehicle.
Did you call the police?
Yeah, there was a police report, but there was no evidence of who did it.
No, he was living in her apartment, renting it out to other people. She was afraid. She was afraid to go. She was afraid to call police of him because he threatened her to kill her or whatever. But
she said so did you.
But that's
Did you ever threaten to kill her?
No, that's besides the fact.
No, it's not besides the fact. What are you talking about?
I never threatened to kill her or anything.
Okay.
But yeah. All I've ever tried to do is help this girl.
Okay.
Right? And she repays me by slandering my name, saying that
your case. We're going to begin with her case first. And the payment on the car and the cell phone. Tell me about that.
Okay,
How does he owe you?
The cell phone, he actually had picked me up from work, dropped me off at home, and he told me that he didn't have nowhere to stay. So I told him he could sleep at my house, but on the couch.
That's a lie.
So I went and he came in, he stood there, but then he kept constantly talking because he said he was drinking that night. I was the one who drove us home. So when he went and I told him to leave because he started making very inappropriate comments. He left and then he started calling my phone over like 20 times that night. So I didn't answer any of the phone calls. He started going down my street, beeping the horn nonstop. And then when I went downstairs, he grabbed my phone out of my hand.
Oh, you went and let him in?
I opened the door because he was in the car. When I opened the door, he started running out from the car to my door. So when I went to go close it, he put his foot in the door, grabbed my phone out of my hand, and slammed it on the ground. I even have proof that he broke my phone.
Let me have that, please. And let's talk about the car you're suing about, a down payment.
He says it right there that he broke it.
All right. How does he owe you for down payment on the car?
The down payment on the car was, he told me that I needed more of a reliable car and that he didn't like me driving the car that I had because it said pretty much hoe on the side of it. Now, I was okay with the car, but he said I was okay with it because it was still getting me...
said on the side of the car, ma'am.
Because it was still getting me place to place.
All right.
Guess my
Go ahead, right.
It was getting me place to place.
What did you say it said on the side of the car?
It said hoe.
And you said you were okay with what it said on the side of your car. Go ahead, ma'am. So
Well, it was cleaned up, so it was only an H.
Tell me about the down payment.
So we agreed to do that, and then we said that we would put the car...
Agreed to do what? Tell me again.
We agreed to go ahead and go to a dealership, and I would be leasing a car under my name, and I would be doing the payments.
Okay.
So we did this around my birthday, so I agreed, and I said fine. So I sold my truck for $1,000 on Craigslist, and then the rest, I got the rest of the $500 from my sister and a paycheck, and I gave it all to him because I don't do good with money.
So how much did you put down?
I put $1,500 down.
All right.
He told me we originally said that when we did the credit check, everything was under my name. Now I had to work.
You gave all that to him or to the car dealer?
I gave that all to him because he said I had to work.
Okay.
So I told him that I was trusting him to hold it.
He told you he paid it all to the car dealer?
Yes.
All right. So what did happen?
So when I went to work, he told me to send a picture of my ID because everything was being processed. He told me that he actually called me the next day and said I had good news. And I said, what's the good news? He said we were able to get approved for the Dodge Magnum.
So how did he ultimately come to owe you? What happened to the car?
Because he ended up putting the car under his name. He put the car under his name that I did not agree.
And who has possession?
Now he does.
Okay.
But I put down the down payment for the car.
All right. So he owes you money.
And I also have that also.
All right. Sir, what do you want to tell me about the phone and the car?
Yes, I did break the phone, but well, she's saying I owe her $1,500. That's a lie. I don't owe her $1,500. And
was there a car? If so, tell me what the agreement was.
I don't owe her anything.
Tell me what the agreement or the discussion was.
The agreement was we were both going to go half on the car and share it.
How much was the car?
The car was altogether, it was $2,005.
$2,005. So half of that would be 1,000. No, yeah, 1,250. 1,000.
2005.
No, half.
1,250.
That's what I said. That's what I said. Go ahead. Okay, so you each were supposed to pay $1,000 and 250 cents.
Right.
No, there's no such thing as 250 cents. $1,002.50. That's how much you were supposed to pay. So what happened? Did you put up your share?
I put $1,205 down. She put down $800, and she claims that I owe her $1,500. And she said it says here she messaged my ex-girlfriend on Facebook saying that I owe her $2,000, and I have the proof right here.
All right.
How much do I actually owe her?
And what is this?
That's stating how much I wrote to him saying that that he owed me.
That he owes you.
Yes.
And you have something where she tells your girlfriend something different. All right. Because he owes me $2,000. You say $2,000 on this.
Yes, I did write to her saying he owed me $2,000 because I was putting the original amount for my phone.
Because what?
I was putting, when I added it, it's the $1,500, and then it's also the amount for my cell phone, but I'm only charging the $100 now.
All right.
So I'm actually putting less in the account.
You have the car, right?
Yes, I have the car.
All right, so why shouldn't she get her money back if you have the car?
And he's even sharing the car with
me. Huh?
She told me, well,
she told you to keep it and don't give her her money back?
She said stay out of her life, so that's exactly what I did.
Okay, now she wants you back in her life long enough to pay her money. Now, the counterclaim for $1,000, what did she do?
She slandered my name on Facebook, saying that I was gay, saying that I had chlamydia, saying that that I was a low life, saying I was broke, saying that I'm a bad tattoo artist. I have everything's right here.
Okay, let me see it. Ma'am, did you do these things?
And she also made a fake Facebook page of me.
Fake Facebook?
Yes.
How do you know it was her?
Because other people messaged me on Facebook saying, "Oh, it's a fake page of you."
I didn't know she did it, ma'am.
I never made the fake Facebook, but I did. Yes, I did. I never said about him being a bad tattoo artist because he was actually the one who did my tattoo.
Oh, it says, come on now, you're a tattoo artist and still poor. I had at least 10 people say your work is straight garbage.
Yeah, I never out of my mouth said he was bad. I said I've heard he was bad.
So I'm on Facebook right there.
But
so you've heard at least 10 people say his work is straight garbage?
Yes, I did.
All right. Do you have any evidence of that?
No, I don't.
Okay, because this is called putting him in a false light.
Okay.
Just because someone tells you something doesn't mean you have an ability to say it openly, such as this. This is spreading things to the entire universe. This isn't just you telling a buddy. This is you telling the entire universe that 10 people say his work is straight garbage. You also say on here you recently told me you had chlamydia from the female you're with. Did he tell you that?
Yes, he did.
So why did you put it on this doll? For the entire world.
I honestly was upset because
That's why you did it, because you were upset.
Yes.
That's called malice.
I got a message.
You did it maliciously to get him back, to hurt him. All right. She says she did this to hurt you.
Yeah,
so your judgment for $1,000 is granted. You can't put something on the internet to hurt him, and it indeed does hurt him. I don't know about the gay stuff. That doesn't necessarily hurt you unless a woman says, I wanted a guy who was totally straight, and then she gets rid of you because she heard you were gay. But on this part about chlamydia, that certainly hurts you. And her saying the 10 people told her you were straight garbage, and that certainly hurts you. And like you say, you did it because you were mad and you wanted to hurt him. $1,000 is your claim. I'll grant your judgment, though, for $1,600, ma'am, leaving you with $600. And hopefully this is a lesson to you and all these young people that think they can put anything on the internet for the entire world to see and that they have no responsibility for it. Wrong. They have to pay if they hurt someone. Have a good day.
I don't feel anything for her. I just hope she learned her lesson. I don't have nothing to say to her.
Well, I do gotta say something. They opened my doors to him, and at the beginning I thought he was really nice until I saw his attitude and everything. And he used to be ringing doorbells at my house at 3 o'clock in the morning, in which I take care of kids, and I don't think that's right for you to come to my house and being harassed. And actually, he also was harassing her through phones and everything. And I was witness for that. So I don't approve with him either.
Plaintiff Cynthia Griffin met the defendant in college, and they became friends. Cynthia claims after the defendant left college, she got pregnant. And when they reconnected years later, Cynthia agreed to babysit for her. However, she's suing because the defendant has failed to pay her. Defendant Caitlin Mulligan says Cynthia often confided in her about her drug-addicted, abusive boyfriend. And Caitlin comforted Cynthia after her boyfriend cheated. Caitlin insists she told Cynthia to pick up the money, but she refused. So Caitlin feels she no longer owes.
Ma'am, you're suing your former babysitter for $300?
I was the babysitter.
Oh, I'm sorry, for babysitting fees.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what months did you babysit her?
Her kids.
Oh, her children. All right, I don't know. Some people need babysitting like that. Sometimes Doyle might need a babysitter from time to time. All right, give me some background on your friendship.
Well, I met Caitlin back in 2007. We went to college together, lived in the dorms together. At first, we didn't really hang out that much. I was always with my boyfriend at the time, and eventually he ended up cheating on me, so I went out and partied with her one night, and we became like really good friends after that, always hung out. After that, she kind of left college. I left shortly after. She got pregnant.
Did you all graduate?
I have my associate's degree.
Okay, was that the college you attended, or was it a 4-year college?
It was just a community college.
Okay.
But, yeah.
And what about her? Did she graduate?
I'm not sure.
Okay, go ahead.
But she got
I was just
pregnant.
wondering, a lot of kids party that were out of college. I know you were saying you all did a lot of partying.
Well, she got pregnant, and I got pregnant shortly after. I actually have 3 kids now. She had 4. So we became busy with our lives, stopped hanging out. But recently, on August 17th, she asked if I would babysit
How did
her.
you all resume your friendship?
We were just like Facebook friends, acquaintances.
All right, let me get some background from her.
Like Cindy said, we met in college in 2007. She always was, I was there for her when she was complaining about her boyfriend cheating on her. I was always there for her, actually. A couple years ago, she complained to me about how her boyfriend was on meth and steroids and woke her up choking her with her kids in the same bed. Tried telling her to leave him. Obviously she didn't do that, but I've always been there for her. I met her again at my kids' school. Her daughter was going to kindergarten there. I asked her, she told me at the time that her and her boyfriend didn't have a job. I offered her a job, she accepted.
Okay, and that's where we get the babysitting from. Why don't you tell me the agreement?
Well, the agreement was that she would pay $60 a day for 5 days a week. And that was
$300 a week.
Yeah, $300 a week.
Said hi.
I don't know what they're charging now. My wife Linda ran a chain. She built from ground up from 1 to 5. People want to know what my wife used to do. She was an educator, early childhood educator, got her degree, worked for the school system in Detroit a couple of years, and then started her own first preschool, built up 5 that she ran for 15 years. But maybe she was shorting the household of some money because I didn't know you were getting all that. She was telling me they were getting $100 a week. Now you tell me you get $300 a week, huh? Uh-huh.
You gotta talk to her.
Yeah, you gotta talk to her. All right, go ahead.
Well, for 2 hours in the morning, it was 4 kids I was watching total, and then 2 for the rest of the day.
My wife had 100 per school.
Yeah.
And she was still bringing home, like I say, 100 per week per child. Go ahead.
But, yeah, so I agreed to it. It wasn't at all what I expected it would be.
Why?
I don't know. I have 3 girls. Maybe I'm not used to boys. I don't know, but the boys were just a handful. Like the older one would just run outside, run down the street when he was mad.
How old was he?
He's in 1st grade, I believe. So, and then the younger one, who was about 2, like would just hit my daughters nonstop. Like take a toy, grab my daughter by the shirt, and just start bashing her until.
When you spoke with her about it, what would she tell you?
Yeah, I mean,
boys will be boys.
I mean, I try to be nice about it. I didn't really want to make it
No,
big.
she said it was not a problem when I confronted her about it. My kids told me about it.
Told you what?
They told me that that Tay hit her daughter, my son, my 2-year-old hit her daughter. I asked her about it. I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, what happened? She was like, oh, don't worry about it. It's okay. She's fine.
Okay.
So.
All right.
I mean, I was just trying to be.
So you let it go, and what other problems were there?
That was the main thing.
Okay, so why are you suing her? What happened to cause you to sue her today?
Well, I found a job, you know, something more suitable, I guess, for me. And I had told her on August the 2nd, it was a Saturday, that I just couldn't do it anymore. I found a new job, and...
Let's speed this case up. I got a lot of questions for my wife, but what happened to that 100 person? Go ahead. What now?
But yeah,
my
she
mind
didn't
is on
pay for
something
the
totally
last,
different now. Go ahead.
After I quit, she didn't pay for the last week of babysitting. I brought it up to her, asked when she was going to pay. She ignored me at first. Then eventually she agreed to pay half on that Friday, and then the other half 2 weeks from then. And then when it came down to it, she never showed up.
Okay, now do you owe her or not?
I have. Look, I tried to pay her. I put the money in my mailbox.
A little bit of money. Since she ran them schools 15 years and gonna act like she didn't get nothing. What?
I got the money order. I put it in my mailbox. I told her it would be in my mailbox. She refused to come pick it up.
Oh, you sound crazy. You sound like my wife. Judging for the plaintiff. Go ahead. I'm gonna go talk to her.
You're a stupid. I hope the rest of your life is as pathetic as it's always been.
All right. There's nothing to say. I don't know.
Of course you don't have nothing to say.
Yeah.